Hey everyone, I'm Martyn Sibley. Thanks for tuning into this video today. For those who haven't come into contact with me before, a little bit about myself. I'm a disability blogger. I co-edit lifestyle magazine Disability Horizons. I run my own social media agency, become a bit of a spokesperson on disability issues within the mainstream media, and also I run lots of cool e-learning and campaign projects using online tools. So I'm here today to chat with you and launch my latest project called the Epic European Disability Roadtrip. So the plan is to start off next Saturday, the 22nd of September, in an adapted motorhome, which has been kindly sponsored by Coach Built GB. So thank you to Coach Built GB for the sponsorship, and believe me, that's been the biggest part of getting this project off the ground, is actually getting the adapted motorhome itself. So by adapted, this means that there's a side entrance with an electric lift, and that will get me in my wheelchair inside the home. And then there's a hoist inside to lift me in and out of my wheelchair onto the bed and into the shower, and of course the shower is adapted as well. So I'm good to go on the motorhome front. So where is this road trip going? Well, I'm going to go over to France on the ferry, then across to Germany, through Poland to Lithuania. Now the reason I want to go to Lithuania is twofold. Firstly, my grandfather was from Vilnius, so I'm very interested to go back to my roots and just learn where my grandfather came from. But also secondly, as you'll pick up in a moment, the broader point of this road trip is to actually understand disability in a more Eastern European country. I've personally been to Central Europe and Western Europe, so I'm very keen to challenge myself to go more to Eastern Europe, where I believe sometimes access and attitudes are a little bit more difficult, but also to hear it from other people that live there too. So then coming back out of Lithuania through Poland again, down into Austria, through Italy, round into Spain, and then back up to the UK. So the whole trip's going to take about 4 weeks, I think. So in terms of the outcomes and the impact I hope for it, as I've already alluded to, this is far more than just a fun travel trip for myself. This is really about awareness raising on disability, changing stereotypes, and in the long run trying to get things improved in the world for disabled people. So obviously I will write a video on my blog and on Disability Horizons about my observations of the access to transport and public buildings, and to how the different cultures perceive me as a disabled person. But also I plan to interview other disabled people and disability charities as well in every country, so that they can tell their story themselves of how it is to live with a disability all around Europe. I've been having lots of good conversations in the media, so I'm convinced there's going to be a big uplift in media coverage both in the UK and across Europe on this project. And also I'm going to be fundraising, so that all of the money fundraised will go to the individuals and the charities that I interview on the trip. I think the biggest outcome for me really will be to say to disabled people, look how someone such as myself, with a pretty severe impairment, a severe disability, depending on your terminology, is able to actually pull something like this off. I think those who know me will understand that I can do very little myself. I rely on my electric wheelchair to get everywhere, my personal care assistants to help me cook, clean, wash myself, everything. So obviously to just show that I've done this personal challenge will be powerful in its own right. But I think to then, along the trip, uncover the difficulties and the barriers within the world that really shouldn't exist in 2012 will encourage non-disabled people to see the potential of how disabled people can achieve, but then also to want to actually remove those barriers and want to help disabled people become more inclusive in our society. So that's broadly the trip and the aims and the timescales and the route, and as you can tell there's a lot of planning already gone into this and things are pretty much good to go. The bit where you come in obviously is to help raise the awareness of the trip. If you know disabled people across Europe, put them in contact with me, and generally just to get behind it would be fantastic. But in terms of cost, there's obviously further cost to this trip. So that's why I'm working with Please Fund Us to try and crowdsource the money to put the final piece of the puzzle together. So to pay for the ferry over to France, to get my carers insured, to get all of the fuel covered, and also to stay in the caravan parks as well. It's about £3,500. So if you're on Please Fund Us, then have a look along at the different pledge amounts and the rewards that I'm offering for them. If you're on my blog or you've received this on an email or a Twitter, then obviously come over to Please Fund Us. And basically, if you're able to afford anything to help this project get off the ground, then please do, because it would mean the world to me. And I think you can appreciate the potential of this project is just so huge, and it's going to be so interesting to so many people. It would be cool if you would be a part of it. So thank you for your time, and all being well, I'll see you next Saturday from the ferry port as we go off and head into the epic European Disability Road Trip. Thanks for your help. Bye bye.